Hello, everyone. Super excited. I'm gonna let the audience roll on in. I am Meghan Jones. I am here for another Raw Industry Exchange. Hey, everybody. Meghan here. Just gonna let you guys just sort of roll on in. We've got another amazing industry exchange for you guys today. I'm going to be speaking, of course, with none other than Heidi Luerra, Raw's amazing founder and CEO, of course, author, entrepreneur, all of the things, just a business boss lady to the max. So I'm super pumped about that. And her mission, of course, has always been to help emerging artists around the world. And during this COVID-19 crisis, that mission still continues to be true. So I'm going to loop her in here in just a minute. Let's get her. I see she is here. Yeah, we're going to get her tied into this conversation. Adding. Man, I've become such a genius at this live thing. Just kidding. Oops, let's try you again, Heids. Add you. We're connecting. We're connecting. Hi.
How are you?
I am good. I had to last minute, the wonderful world of working from home. I had maintenance people doing all this noisy lawn work outside, of course, right as I'm about to go live. And so normally I have this like cute little setup, like you've got the plants in the background. I'm like, where's the farthest possible place I can go away from this noise? So I've like locked myself in my bedroom.
We have matching lipstick, so that's all that matters, right?
Yes, yes. I was like, at the very least, I have to have like lipstick and threw some earrings on just to like, fake it until you make it. And you guys can get the dogs in the background.
Right. It's strange times. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I will say that has been the one thing that nobody has minded on client calls where it's like, oh no, bring the dogs in. Like, we want to see the dogs.
Show me animals.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Especially for those that don't have it. So I'm really excited to talk about today. Of course, for the past 11 years, you have been building this platform from the ground up, where creatives in different mediums get to interact with each other and, of course, showcase their work and make connections. So remind our audience, what drove you to start Raw like in the first place?
I'll give you
this crazy,
Yeah, so back when I was just a very young person with a lot of drive and a ton of creativity, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I moved to LA at a really young age, like 3 months out of high school graduation. I was in LA, really had only been here one time, and set up shop in a garage, started my own clothing line, tried to sell it, found very bleak options. This was back in like 2004, 2005. So decided to take matters into my own hands and start a showcase for independent artists. I had tons of artist friends that were musicians and visual artists as well as fashion designers. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could all kind of collaborate and pitch in? And so that's really like the spirit behind Raw's existed for 11 years, but I've been doing this for 17, I think. I haven't done math in a while, so
not my strong.
A little rusty, but yeah, long time.
Yeah. So obviously last year when I had the pleasure of interviewing you, right before, of course, Raw's 10th birthday, we were talking about Raw Artist future plans. And obviously I don't think any of us could have foreseen this like massive change in the world, but of course this massive change in the creative community, of course, thank you to COVID-19, this pandemic. Tell us like what are we gonna do? Yeah, what does the cancellation of events mean for artists?
Sure. This has been extremely impactful, I think, for the creative community as a whole, obviously. Artist Relief Fund actually put out a survey showing that 65% of artists, or I think it's upticked, it went from 62 to 64% of artists are unemployed, and 95% have lost income. And the industry as a whole is looking to lose about $5.6 billion this year. So compound just joblessness with, you know, the ability to showcase in person, to sell your work, to pop up at a marketplace, to you know, gig, to tour. It's devastating from multiple angles. And we are supporting a lot of small businesses as far as restaurants are concerned, and as far as, you know, workers on the front lines, which we should be doing. But I didn't feel like anyone was really talking about the creative community, and the creative community is our culture. Like, it is our culture. Music, theater, the things that we do for fun, and the things that inspire us and move us forward as a world are at a standstill, and they're hurting big time. And so we wanted to do something to help. So it's kind of twofold. For me, as a lover of the arts and a creative myself, I'm definitely saddened. And then for, you know, Raw as a creative events platform, we're just kind of screwed for a period of time, but so are others. And you know, there's tons of things to do. There's tons of ways to get creative. I believe in this community. I think that is our strong suit, is being creative. So we're gonna survive. It's just, it's very touch and go, and it's day by day. And so for us, what we've had to postpone our events for the foreseeable future. We're holding strong. We still want to have those showcase events. We're still planning on it. But it's tough. It's tough right now for a lot of people. Absolutely.
I mean, you know, just to sort of echo, you know, your sentiment of, you know, creatives really being the fabric of society. You know, what they do, you know, I think permeates everything, and really are oftentimes the catalyst to, you know, change in so many different ways. You know, politically, socially, sort of, you know, bringing awareness to, you know, creating these perhaps maybe political pieces, and sort of you know, invoking things in people that they might not have thought about before. So I definitely agree that it is very different. I know I've been asking a lot of my friends, you know, how are you creating right now? Like, how are you taking that time to make that space? And, you know, I'm sure, again, you know, the ingenuity, and I mean, if there's anything that creatives are, it is savvy, and it is knowing how to pivot. And so I think that, you know, we just need to really like harness that right now. So I'm completely there with you. So this March and April, you know, right after all the live events were sort of put on hold. I know actually I was at an event the day before the stay-at-home order got put in place, and we were leaving, and the police had showed up, and we were like, oh, that's real weird. I wonder, it must be a noise ordinance. Well, come to find out, actually, it's like, no, they were shutting it down because they wanted people out of there. It's like, but, you know, we were hosting, you know, a number of podcasts on various topics that, you know, can be, you know, helpful to the artistic community. We were talking about finance and law, and of course, you know, how to be a freelancer, mental health, which is like, if it wasn't important before, which it was, it is 1000% important right now. So working on all of those things, what else has the Raw team been working on?
So we just launched this week a resource center for artists on our website. So you can go to rawartist.com/resources, and we have a huge list of a bunch of different grants and funding that is available. Amazing. We are sorry, I got a phone call.
No worries.
we've been busy.
Yeah.
We've also, but the big project really is, we are working on the National Arts Drive.
Mm-hmm.
So the National Arts Drive is a fundraiser because looking at those numbers, already knowing that this was a problem
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of artists and a lot of creatives and people in the creative field, we wanted to do something. So we have, some resources. And during that period, did did we freeze there for a second? Okay.
Internet.
So let me start over. The National Arts Drive is a national fundraiser. It's happening on Saturday, June 6th, 2020. So just in a few short weeks. And what we're essentially trying to do is fundraise directly to artists. We started kind of thinking about different ways that we could help the community during this time, and creating a fund, and me or someone on our team deciding how much an artist gets awarded felt very uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I wanted to get artists money somehow. That's how you can sustain your creation, and we rely on artists to kind of communicate how we're feeling, right? Music and art, especially in a time like this. We need artists. We need them to be creating. We need uplifting things. We need to communicate about this massive crisis that is going on around the world. So we wanted to create a platform, but also a fundraising opportunity for artists. So the National Arts Drive is happening pretty much everywhere. We whipped up a website really quick, nationalartsdrive.com, and artists can go on there, and for a 3-hour period across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, we are having artists go to their front lawns, driveways, balconies, stoops, wherever they have an opportunity to pop up, display. They can be a raw artist or non-raw artist. And we're inviting like this national day of art, essentially, and to show the community how vast and powerful this community is. And they might not know that they're living next to a singer-songwriter or a really dope mural artist, or they might not know that, and these artists need support. So in addition, we're inviting the community to drive around through their city streets, suburban blocks, basically check out these artists. And we built an interactive map that as the drivers are driving through and they approach an artist showcase, they can click.
These guys.
Oh, they're so cute. I miss them. They can click on the map marker that the artist has placed there, and they can donate directly to them through Venmo, PayPal. They can check out their website. They can check out their social media, etc. So our team is kind of trying to spread the word in 10 major cities, but this is open to anyone and everyone that wants to participate. That's a creative. Awesome. We've gotten map markers dropped in Germany and Venezuela.
Okay.
India. So
this
is catching its own kind of organic speed. And so what we thought we were just going to do in North America, it's growing. So anyone that wants to be a part of it, you can go to the website, nationalartsdrive.com, sign up, drop your map marker, get on the map, and we'll make sure that you get seen the day of by your community and get some support.
That's amazing.
That's the goal.
Yeah, we dropped a link down there for you guys. Again, nationalartsdrive.com. Be sure to go to that. And I mean, you know what? I mean, at the very least, right? We're getting outside. We're enjoying beautiful art and helping each other as a community. So, I mean, like those things are beyond important right now. So again, the registration process, you're mentioning that you don't have to be a raw artist. So is it just, you just go to the site and like, as soon as y'all see an entry that like, or in one of the 10 cities that you didn't plan on it, being in, they can just, they'll just show up.
Yep. They can select the major metro that's nearest them, but they can put in any address in the world and it'll populate on our map. Yeah, and they don't have to be a raw artist. This is for all artists. This is, not exclusive to our community. We've definitely let our community know, but ultimately we want anyone and everyone as the creative, culture and fabric of our time to be able to garner support.
Yeah. So we're getting a question down here. Is there a specific location you have to do it in? So I do want to say that Heidi mentioned balconies, front lawns, your stoop. If you live in a house, you open up your garage, your driveway, your front lawn, sort of anywhere within your space, your bubble.
There are some artists too who have written in here, like, I kind of live in an urban area that, like I live in downtown LA. I maybe wouldn't want to pop up my art on this side of the street or anything. Yeah. So if that's the case, you can always reach out to maybe a friend or family member that's maybe on the outskirts that might have some space for you that you can kind of socially distance from and still showcase. Another idea is we do have some local businesses that have written into us that are willing to offer up their patio, or they're willing to, offer up their driveway or something like that. So that's another option, as long as it's street facing space, because we don't want anyone to really get out of their car and go in somewhere. We want them to be able to kind of see it from a safe distance. So we're keeping everyone safe and healthy and, still able to maintain this within the parameters and rules of all the different cities that we're participating in.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something to note. And, again, I'm sure, I guess I would just advise to stick to, now that you say this is popping up in Germany and in India, it's like they might have different protocols and regulations when it comes to, COVID-19. So just make sure that you're staying safe is really the most important thing. So for those, I see we've got some new people coming in. For those of you guys just tuning in, I'm Meghan Jones, and I am speaking with none other than founder extraordinaire Heidi Luerra, author, entrepreneur, boss lady, just all the things. And, again, no shortage of doing things for the art community. The National Arts Drive happening, of course, nationwide on June 6th. That's a Saturday, right?
It's a Saturday.
On your weekend. Now it's like, we're all getting those questions like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Well, it's like, now you actually have something you can do. So
in your car and go see some art.
Yes, exactly. So be sure to go to nationalartsdrive.com. We've dropped the link down in the bottom for you guys. But so you mentioned launching, when you coming up with the idea of launching in the cities, was there any particular rhyme or reason? I think you said initially it was 10, now it's just kind of blossomed.
Yeah, well, we just kind of looked at what we could handle as a team. And so we kind of picked 10 major metro cities, but it's spread far beyond that at this point. So that's really good. We've had ambassadors join us. So if you're in a city that's not listed on the website per se, you can absolutely sign up to be an ambassador, and we're giving you all of the graphics, we have press release, we have promo. It's just free and open to anyone who wants to help promote it, who maybe wants to kind of spearhead it in their area, even if it's, a small town. Hey, if five artists pop up in a small town where you are, you're going to get all the attention that day. So that's great. So we're not discriminating against any specific location. Anyone and everyone is welcome to join. And there's also, if you just, if you like the concept and you just want to help us spread the word in general, you can go to the website, and under the support tab, there's graphics for social media that are squares and stories and GIFs. And then we also have our regular flyer you can download. Just any help to let the creative community know that this is happening, because I think that's the biggest hurdle, is getting it out there to everyone to make sure that they know it's occurring. But it's completely free to participate. It's completely free to drop your location, and it's completely free to the drivers participating. So
amazing. Yeah, we're getting some questions and some thoughts here in the so it's just, again, I just want to echo what Heidi is saying. Somebody asked about Lawrence, Kansas is not listed. That's because nobody in Lawrence, Kansas is currently participating. So if you want to participate in Lawrence, Kansas, go to nationalartsdrive.com. Again, you can sign up, get on the map. You can also share all the digital assets. We're not going to pass out any physical flyers. Raw has always, I dare say, against that. We want to be as green and environmentally friendly as possible. Also, we don't want people out, you know, on the streets putting themselves potentially in any sort of danger. We just want people to be safe. So there are digital assets on nationalartsdrive.com that you can use to help, help spread the word, or again, help get yourself set up in the city that you're in. So we really appreciate that. And again, nationalartsdrive.com is in the little feed down here, and we'll pin that up. I'll actually, while we're talking, I'm going to pin this at the top of the
Cool.
all the technology, all the things I'm learning here as we're going live, and all the fun things.
Yes.
Well, I'm really excited about this because this is like, I mean, the fact that like you can directly support that artist. I mean, I thought that was like I thought that was so genius. It's like, oh man, like, that's, I think a lot of people's like misstep is like, well, how do I support them directly? Right. It's like,
yes.
there's all these funds I could potentially give to, but I'm not really sure where that money is really going,
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that money, and I don't knock it, like anyone who's put together a fund and can, acquire that much money and distribute it, that's wonderful. In the past, when I've been involved with specific grants or something, it tends to take a really long time and it tends to be quite bureaucratic. Yeah. So I want to bypass all of that. And as Ron normally does, we're just trying to go direct to consumer here and just say, hey, community member, you have, there are several artists living in your neighborhood. Look how vibrantly creative it is. And, support this artist directly. Just Venmo them $10, $20, whatever it might be, or save their shop for a later purchase. It's an awareness, it's a movement, but it's also really just getting that direct support to artists because they need it and we need them to have it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
So after, National Arts Drive, like, what do you think the next step is with, after National Arts Drive?
We've got some ideas in the works.
Yeah.
Some cool things that we're thinking about. Ideally, I'm going to take a little bit of a hiatus, probably like a week or two, and just kind of go off the grid on a personal level because, we've been working really hard for 11 years and we want to kind of regroup and get re-inspired on what the next evolution of Raw looks like. And so, but we're by no means going away. We're going to figure this out. It is probably the biggest challenge that I've ever had to untangle and figure out and lead through. It's been really hard because typically as a leader, you need to have, this confidence and this grit to push through things. And no one really has any experience. There's no book you can read that's like how to get through a pandemic for your business.
Yeah. No, dummies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of learning as we go, which is, there's been a sense of freedom in that and a sense of understanding. I feel like a lot of people have been super cool throughout the process, but it's been a challenge as well. So I'm looking forward to a little R&R and kind of recenter, figure out what's next, and then back to the grind to get started. But we have some cool ideas, and because we have such a vast and creative community, I think that we're really lucky because we are located in all of these different areas in cities across the globe. So I think we have a lot of flexibility to do some really cool stuff. So I'm excited. Our mission will live on. We will fight on. We will continue. But yeah, I don't want to say too much yet, but we are thinking about cool things and planning cool things, but it is day by day as everything changes and unfolds. So
I mean, you know, that's what was true at 11 a.m. is not true by 11 p.m. So I think that that's completely fair. And yeah, I think if anything, it's taught, you know, humans and businesses and whatever you want to be labeled as, the opportunity to, you know, really think about how business is done, but also, you know, the opportunity to slow down, you know, and sort of reconnect, whether that's with yourself or, you know, with your audience. I think, you know, as a founder and an entrepreneur, just in general, I think it's super important that, you know, their voices are heard often throughout this process, and, you know, that communication is key, and vulnerability is, you know, even though it's scary, I think that it's, you know, just a reflection of how much, you know, you care, one cares about the business, and sort of the mission behind it. So, you know, I think there's something definitely to be said about that. And, so definitely take that time, because we, you know, we want the next iteration of Raw to be there, whatever it is. It's gone through many different,
you know,
many different masks, no pun intended. I'm really excited to see what unfolds. And of course, I'll be, you know, I'm thankful to live in Los Angeles, where we have, you know, sort of a plethora of artists. So I'm excited to get in my car, because that doesn't happen that often these days. I got to make sure it still runs.
Gas prices are low. It's perfect. It's perfect timing.
It's a perfect timing to do that. So I'm excited to get out on June 6th. Just a couple more questions for people coming in late. If your city isn't listed, go to nationalartsdrive.com. I've pinned the website there for you, and register yourself. As said, you do not have to be a Raw artist. It is free for you to register. And, you know, you might have to think outside of the box when it comes to where you can pop up. If you live in an apartment that, you know, maybe doesn't have a balcony or anything that's street facing, you might have to think a little bit. But again, Heidi mentioned that local businesses, you know, might be the thing to hit up. You know, I guess maybe even like hitting up your local arts council or something along those lines to let them know about the opportunity, to say like, hey, if your offices are shut down, you know, can we use your parking lot? Or, you know,
exactly. We have a letter template too available if you want to ask for space from a business. We pretty much have everything that you need on the site, all the tools and resources, promotional materials. We also have showcase inspiration ideas. So we have an entire slideshow by creative category, whether you're a filmmaker, a fashion designer, or a musician, or an artist, kind of some creative ways that other people have showcased from outdoor creative spots. You know, some people are putting stuff in the trunk of their car and like kind of backing their car towards the street. Some people are, you know, decorating with their trees, or just like going to Home Depot and buying stakes and putting their art on it in their front yard, or, you know, or hanging stuff off of a balcony, as long as it's safe, you know, and secure. So there's a lot of different ways, and I'm super excited to see it. The map, a lot of people are asking, when is the map going to be available? So I want to clear that up. We're going to release the map the morning of the show, of the showcase, the event. But I have it on the back end, and I can see, and there is artists everywhere outside of what we have listed in the locations of those major metros. They are everywhere. So anyone and everyone can sign up. Again, our team is just kind of focused on garnering some support in the major metros, so that hopefully it organically spreads, because we want just people to know about this. So if you have a friend on the other side of the world, invite them to join. You know, we've never done this before, but all the technology is done and ready, and we're excited about it. And we're just going to see how it goes. We just want artists to get support. So even if one artist is financially supported and they can maybe feed themselves for an additional week, or they can buy more supplies, or they can sustain for a little bit longer during this period, then I call that a success. So yeah.
So we have a question here before we wrap up. And that brings up a good question. Is there privacy concerns listing your home address? What's that about?
Yeah, so if you want to remain anonymous, you can pop up. Again, we recommend a local business. Perhaps there's a local cafe or something that is open, and that's kind of a win-win situation. So we have a letter template. You can, again, just essentially copy and paste it and request to, use their space for this 3-hour period and see what they say, and then you can drop their address in there. It depends. Every artist feels a little different. Some are like, well, I live here, so it's not going to show your exact address. It's just going to be a map marker, if that helps. But that is one workaround. Or you can look for a space, maybe a friend or family member nearby that you can social distance from, that has space available. That's another option as well.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, the addresses aren't shown. It's just like the general.
It's just like, it's like,
okay.
Boop, go make a left.
Yeah. That helps. If there's any local LA artists, I have a big driveway, so totally willing to volunteer as tribute for that. I definitely think that's important. So hit me in my DMs. So amazing, guys. I feel like I'm on like another time. nationalartsdrive.com. I cannot say it enough. nationalartsdrive.com. Go there. You're most welcome for those answers. Thank you for asking in the comments. Heidi, I'm under better circumstances. I wish we could be seeing each other right now.
I know.
A cocktail in one hand. And,
seriously.
I
miss your hugs. I miss hugging people.
Woo!
This is the worst, man. It's
kind of crazy. But would love to social distance with you soon.
Yes.
And yeah, for those artists interested, like Heidi said, everyone, get on the list, register your city. Raw Artists wants to support you. So, go do it. We want to see your art on June 6th.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Artists, I know how horrible this is and how much it sucks right now. And really try not lose the faith through this. There are so many people that do want to support the arts. There is support available out there. So just cooler heads will prevail. Keep on the grind. We need you. We need you in a good mental health space. We need your words and your wares and your art. So thank you for creating and for inspiring us and for being there for us as an organization for as long as you have. And we'll continue to do our best to support you in whatever way. And if you have ideas or something that you need, hit us up, info@rawartist.com. But yes, nationalartsdrive.com. Go there, be a part of it. We'd love to see you.
Awesome. Cool. All right, Heids. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing
the
beautiful brain with us. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.